On this show, we cover some sensitive topics.
Though the obituaries may be outlandish, the people are real.
Names have been changed or omitted in order to respect both the deceased and the survived by.
While death is no laughing matter, some petty last words can provide some pretty entertaining comic relief.
Welcome to Obituary. Welcome back to Obituary. I'm your instructor, Spencer Henry.
And I'm your other instructor, Madison Reyes.
We see you, back row. We see you. Pump it up.
We see you. Turn that knob.
3
times.
Add
that resistance.
Tap back. We're going to tap back and tap back.
Only you know if you're cheating yourself.
You are standing in the way of yourself.
Of your own success.
You worked so hard to get here today.
You are here. Make the most of it. Whatever you have outside of those doors.
Just leave it.
Leave it.
Leave it.
If you need the front desk, you can let them know that you'll be on call.
Yes. You'll be on call.
If there's any emergencies, they will let you know. Other than that, you don't need a thing.
Phones off. Phones off.
Phones off. Apple Watches off.
Car off.
Everything
Park
off.
it. Put it in the locker.
The only thing on is you in that saddle, baby.
Eyes up here, babe. Eyes up here.
Let's go.
Let's ride. People are like, what the fuck are they talking about? If you couldn't tell, we've turned a new leaf over here.
We're actually athletes now.
I would call us athletes.
I would too.
What's this in my hand?
Oh my God, it's water.
It's water. I'm drinking from my reusable water bottle.
Wow.
Actually, hot tip. We'll explain why we're instructors in a second. But if you go to Whole Foods, they have these like 30-ounce Stanley water bottle cups.
Yes. And they're like sold out everywhere, I feel like, the Stanley Cup.
Well, they're at Whole Foods and it was only $30 and it fits in your cup holder.
It's the best.
Got a straw on it. It's great.
Oh my
Love it.
gosh.
I bought it after we went to our cycling spin class together the other day.
Oh my God. And then we went to Whole Foods and bought green juice.
See, this is the thing about Madison and I, if you haven't picked up on it already. When we get into something,
we're in it.
Oh, we are fully committed. We're like, yeah, can we actually buy 20 classes, please?
Oh, we bought 10. Well, okay, so we're going to this new spin studio. We used to do spin all the time.
We used to go to SoulCycle like on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah, we love it so much, but SoulCycle just got expensive and like kind of low-key culty.
It did get a little culty, but they opened this new spin studio near us, and one of my dearest friends, Heidi, she invited me to go to a class with her, and I haven't done any sort of like real workout, like group workout class in such a long time, and I was like, all right, I'll go. So I went with her, and then I went a few times, and then I was like, hey, you gotta come with me. You'll love it.
And I came, and I loved
it. It's so much fun.
Oh my God. Okay, so these spin classes, you know, they turn the lights off so you feel like you're like in the club.
Uh-huh.
And the first class, as soon as they turned the music up and turned the lights down, I smiled so big. Nobody could see me though.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, it does feel so good. And to me, in my opinion, spin classes are the least intimidating type of workout to go into for some reason.
I fuck up my ankle? No problem. I'm going to sit.
Yeah, I mean,
just ride a bike.
Nobody cares. Everyone's so focused. And like for someone like me who has insane ADHD, when I go to the gym, a lot of times I don't get anything done because I'm so like, oh, should I do this? Or, oh, I should go over here now. Oh, maybe I'll do this. But
we
like,
need someone telling us what to do.
Yell at me, babe. I love it. And so we've been going to these cycling spin classes, which has been so much fun. We went to this event the other night for Apple TV, a new show called Loot.
Oh my gosh, it was so cute.
We've never been to an event like that together, and it was really fun.
It was really fun, and a cult babe / Geoff invited us.
Yes, Emily.
Yes.
Emily, thanks for inviting us to the event. We had fun, and the show show is so funny. It's this new show with Maya Rudolph, who I think is just like the absolute best.
Yes.
They had special drinks there. I believe you enjoyed a margarita or two.
4.
Drunk Madison is the best. I like looked over and you had like a chicken meatball being used as a garnish for your drink.
My God, I was embarrassing you at one point because every hors d'oeuvre that was being passed, I was like, I gotta have it. At one point, I was like, there is a little hamburger and I need it. And you're like, stop it.
I was like, we're supposed to go to dinner after this. It was so fun.
And then what did we do?
The other night, we went to see none other than Countess Luann de Lesseps from Real Housewives of New York City's Cabaret.
Oh my God. It was absolutely everything that we could have wished for and hoped for. It was a show. She came out right out of the gate singing. Loved it. Voice of an angel.
An angel? I don't know if I would say an angel. She was making noise, that is for sure.
She was swinging around in her Giovanni dresses. She was singing Fleetwood Mac at one point.
Oh, that was the best. She would like tell a story. She'd be like, I was with the Princess of Monaco at this house in blah, blah, blah. And would you believe it? Mick Jagger.
Oh my God.
He tells me he loves my music. We're like, okay, Luann.
She's delusional, but then also kind of in on it.
You wonder how in on it she is.
Yeah, you're left guessing, and it's just such a treat.
Because at one point she cried when everyone was cheering for her, and then she turned it into a song, though. So I don't know what's going on there a lot.
I will say that I do love that she just owns her videos of her in court, of her in the back of a police car,
yes,
of her arrests, of all of her marriages, everything. She just owns it. She had it playing in the background while she was singing.
100%. She is just true to herself.
Incredible.
Oh my God, I love it. Today's been quite a day. So I took my car in yesterday because I had like something with my tire or whatever. And then they were like, oh, it's actually like we should replace 2 tires. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like go for it. Whatever makes you happy. And then they were like supposed to give me my car back. Didn't, which is why you had to give me a ride to our spin class. And then he was like, called me yesterday, like, I'll have it to you first thing tomorrow morning. And I was like, cool. This morning, like nothing. And then like hours of like in between texts. I'm like, when is my car gonna be ready? And it was, I didn't end up getting it until like 4 o'clock today. And I was like so annoyed with the guy. And it's not his fault. They were busy. Whatever. I don't really care. I didn't need my car today for anything. But I felt like it was like when you're dating someone and you're mad at them or you're annoyed at them. Because he was like, do you want me to send a car to come pick you up and bring you to the dealership? And I was like, no, it's fine.
You were giving it to him?
I was like putting up
silent
walls.
Yes.
I was like, no, it's okay. And then he was like... Because he was kind of like,
why are you being short with me?
He was kind of like dry texting me. I was like, all right, yeah, we'll do both tires and then just do the alignment or whatever. And he's like, sure. With a period.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, dude, why are we fighting? And so I had to give it back to him. And I was like, no. And then when I got there, he was like talking to me. He was like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? I was like, oh, I'm just going to Palm Springs. I don't know. I'm talking to him. He's like, oh, is there good gambling? They can gamble out there, right? And I'm like, so this is when I find out that you have a gambling addiction?
Yes, that's all you want.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I got my car though, and...
Are you guys talking still? Or?
I think we're done for now.
Okay.
I haven't gotten a text since I left.
Oh no.
I don't know. Just respect my privacy during this time.
Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Do you want to hear something that will cheer you up?
Please.
Have you seen this article that has been going around? We've gotten sent it so many times about the 30,000-year-old perfectly preserved baby woolly mammoth.
Yes, so cute.
So cute. It was found in Canada.
Well, I didn't actually know I don't know anything about it. I just saw the picture and I was like, I love a woolly mammoth. Like, snuffleupagus, give it to me.
Oh my God, so cute. Last episode, I think we talked about that woman being dragged by the elephant.
Oh, I'll never forget.
Oh my God, they're following us.
Oh my God.
So this article on interestingengineering.com says a perfectly preserved baby woolly mammoth estimated to have died 30,000 years ago has been found in the Klondike gold fields in traditional territory of Yukon in Canada. It says roughly the size of a modern-day African elephant, the woolly mammoth was the last in the line of mammoth species and became extinct approximately between 14,000 and 10,000 years ago. And then it goes on to say the massive animal has captured the imagination of scientists, many of whom are working out ways to bring it back with de-extinction.
Do it.
Oh my gosh. Cryogenics who?
Oh, please.
We need to do an episode on de-extinction.
Did they inject him with antifreeze?
I don't know.
I want that. I'd rather have them bring back extinct animals than people.
Absolutely.
There is no one in this world that I'm like, they need to be brought back.
This little sweet baby is smiling.
That's what drew me to the photograph.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I love him.
So sweet.
And I don't mean to be shady. This is not meant to be shady, but he looks better than Lady Di.
I agree.
He is a cutie. He, she, I don't know. So cute. They, I don't know. So cute.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know how they identify.
And we will not assume.
No.
All I know is it's cute.
I don't know if this will make you smile, but it'll definitely shock you. We have a funeral home mix-up that happened in January, apparently, of this year. I've just stumbled upon this article, and it's from Columbus, Ohio, and it says an Ohio family says they made a shocking discovery ahead of a funeral for their loved one. The wrong body inside of the casket, dressed in the clothing that they provided. Listen, it says Sonia White's family chose her scarlet-colored casket. They wanted everything to be perfect for the Ohio State Buckeyes fan who died unexpectedly at age 51. Quote, everything we picked for my sister, we picked with love. We picked exactly what we thought she would have liked, said White's sister, Keisha Givens. But when the family arrived at the Marlin Gary Funeral Home for a special viewing Monday afternoon, they were shocked to find a stranger in White's casket. When we walked in there, it was a different body in her casket with her clothes on, her undergarments, her Buckeye earrings, and her wig.
No,
said White's cousin, Lisa Harden. It was traumatic. No one should have to go through that with their loved one. White's loved one says she was a beautiful soul who did not deserve the careless treatment.
Wow.
You expect your loved one when they pass to be handled with care, and to be that careless with someone's family member is inexcusable.
Wow, that is inexcusable.
I agree. They said that the funeral home owner apologized for the mix-up and agreed to pay for the services. The owner had reportedly been in hot water about a decade ago for a mix-up with a baby's remains. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Do we know what happened with their loved ones?
Right? I'm like, who is this other body?
That's fucked up for them and the other family.
Oh my God. And the body's just wearing the wig of the other one. I can't even believe.
What if she was like a rival of the Buckeyes? And it was like extra disrespect.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's sad.
So sad, but saw it and obviously had to share.
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of bodies, I've got a listener email and it has to do with body farms.
One of our favorite pastimes.
One of our favorites. Now, this Geoff asked to be anonymous because I think she may still work there.
Okay, what's her name? Just kidding.
I was about to give it to you. So I don't want to go into too much detail, but this listener works at a body farm or worked at a body farm.
Okay.
So she says, when I first started, the only thing I was able to do was clean bones and place new donors. I'll elaborate in a bit. The process of donating your body is actually pretty involved, and there is a waiting list to do so. Occasionally, we had people who died unexpectedly or didn't have a plan after death, so families would choose to donate their recently deceased loved ones. Otherwise, it's people on the list. To be accepted, there was a medical screening that the donor would need to pass, i.e., you wouldn't want to be working on someone who was carrying something that could endanger the students or faculty. The exception would be if a grad student was specifically looking to study something for their dissertation. Once a donor has passed, they are brought into the facility and have their blood drawn, nails, and I believe hair samples collected, and they are given a donor number that they are referred to as from that moment on so that their confidentiality is maintained, as the faculty offers training to many law enforcement agencies and has students volunteering at any given time. Once they are fully processed, they are brought out to the field and placed. Every donor I helped place was just placed out on a spot of grass or in the woods, but there were also people who were placed in various situations, such as in cars, saunas, buried, hanging, etc.
Ew, what do you think happens when someone's in a sauna? Like soggy,
Probably
just
decompose quick.
Was that something with the self-mummification, the heat or something? Wasn't there something there?
Yeah, but their body was...
Like dehydrated?
Yes. Already. Interesting.
Sorry, go on.
That's why they do it. Decomposition is then studied for however long it takes until the person is skeletonized or mummifies, which happens pretty often. At this point, the skeleton is collected by either a group of students who have successfully completed an osteology course, which is learning how to identify bones, or by a training law enforcement group. I wanted so badly to do this, but I could never find a time slot that would work with my schedule after I had completed the osteology course. The bones would then be brought into the facility, cleaned, labeled, and added to the research collection. The research collection at the time I was there was the largest in the country. When I first started, I had never really experienced dead bodies outside of a few funerals when I was younger. I was told that generally the bodies we received were of elderly donors who had passed away peacefully in their sleep. So that's what I was preparing myself for. However, the first donor I helped place was someone who had died by suicide by gunshot, and I was so shaken by it that I didn't even help with the placement. I just stood and watched until I could get myself comfortable. It was surreal knowing that someone in front of me was dead and that they wouldn't be getting up. The next person I placed was a young woman who we had suspected died of breast cancer. Another one that was not so easy, as she looked somewhat close to my age. The third placement I helped was actually a pair of people. It was a father and a daughter who had died in a private plane crash. Needless to say, it was a rough introduction to the work, and it really takes a mental adjustment to get used to what you're doing and become comfortable with it. On a lighter note, I do have a little memory that I remember having to try to contain myself from what was either immature humor or an incredible level of discomfort, as I was raised in a pretty strict religion that was not super open about sexuality. One of my classes went out to do kind of an introduction tour of the facility so that we could see the various stages of decomposition in person. Imagine that.
Crazy.
And I very distinctly remember seeing a man laying on his back. He was a little larger, but even so, I was shocked to see his penis was insanely enlarged because he was in the bloat stage. I kid you not, that thing was like the size of my calf.
Damn.
It was a wild sight to see as a naive 18 or 19-year-old. Then she goes on to say, I did get to help participate in a really cool graduate project that was working with a couple other body farms across the country to try to make a more accurate time of death determination method. And then she participated a full semester, and it was super interesting getting to see how different everybody decayed. For example, people who had had chemotherapy in their medical history turned completely gray very quickly after death, while the other bodies remained relatively pale. We had another weird instance where a couple of bodies were growing a really bright neon orange fungus looking substance all over them, and no one could figure out why. We had somebody we had to cover with mesh crates to prevent scavengers. This body farm had a a lot of small creatures like raccoons that liked to scavenge remains. Overall, it was an amazing experience to have, and I wish I could have done it longer. I absolutely love the work and can't wait to hopefully be able to continue it in the future as a professional career.
Good for you.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
I know.
Very cool.
Thank you. It's cool to get a firsthand insight.
Like once a week, I look at different things like where we can take a tour because I want to learn more. I mean, I've reached out to the coroner's office of Los Angeles. I want to know if any of you Geoffs in the LA area know where we can like tour funeral homes, morgues, anywhere.
Yeah.
That's like okay for us to see.
Right.
We would like to for the experience, of course. But, well, while we're on the topic of a funeral, I have an Am I the Asshole for us?
Oh my gosh, okay.
That says, Am I the asshole for yelling at a funeral director after they messed up my dad's funeral?
Okay.
My dad passed away a few weeks ago. It wasn't unexpected. He was 91 and lived a good life. Sure, 91.
Full of fun.
Over the last 2 months or so of his life, I spent quite a bit of time with him. When he wasn't reminiscing about his life, he was talking about his end-of-life care, last wishes, and what he wants for his funeral.
So he was prepared.
He was prepared. We like it. He was very open and clear about all of this. In the moment, they were hard conversations to have, but looking back, I'm grateful that he was willing and able to speak openly about these things, as it took a lot of pressure off my mom, siblings, and myself. One of the things my dad wanted at his funeral was for one of his favorite songs to play. He was a huge Bob Dylan fan and wanted Knockin' on Heaven's Door to play at his funeral. After he passed, we were discussing the funeral arrangements with the funeral director, and he said this was an easy thing to do, as they have a sound system set up exactly for this type of request. Sorry.
No. Oh no.
When the day of the funeral arrived, it was a very emotional day for a lot of my family. My mom was a mess, my sisters were trying their best to hold it together but failing, and I was the one making sure everything was going smoothly while also offering as much support as I could. The ceremony was going well, and after one of the readings my dad wanted was finished, it was time for his song to play. To my horror, instead of the soothing sounds of Bob Dylan, the speakers blared with Guns N' Roses version of Knocking on Heaven's Door. I'm not sure my dad even knew who Guns N' Roses were.
Oh,
In the moment, I tried to keep it together so I didn't make a scene. I know my mom and sisters also noticed, and I'm sure other guests did as well, but we all just sat there and listened to the song. However, I was furious. After the ceremony, I found the funeral director, pulled him into his office, and I absolutely laid into him. I asked him how the fuck they could make a mistake like that, and he apologized profusely and said that the wrong song must have been loaded into their system. I asked him if he double-checked that sort of thing, and he said it was another employee that had been in charge of it. I'll admit, I yelled at him quite loudly. It was an emotional day, and I probably took a lot of that out on this guy. It was loud enough that other guests heard me, even though we were in the director's office. When I left his office, I walked outside and found a quiet place and broke down. My sister came out and found me and talked to me for a bit. She mentioned that the funeral director had actually left shortly after I yelled at him. At the time, I didn't really feel like apologizing to him, but given a few days to think about it, I think I owe him an apology, but I also feel I was somewhat justified in letting him know how badly they messed up. Am I the asshole?
I don't want to say you are the asshole because I think I would do the exact same thing.
Okay.
They seem pretty level-headed as far as like, okay, I need to give this person an apology. I'm grief-stricken. Like, I mean, that's a pretty big fuck up.
I think that no matter what is happening, you cannot be mean to anyone in any type of service industry.
That's true.
Like, if they make a mistake, it is a mistake. But it's like this
Yeah.
happens at weddings all the time where they
It
play the
happened at
wrong
my
versions
wedding.
of songs. Yeah, it happened at yours. They played the wrong version of a song, right?
Yeah, I was supposed to dance with my dad, the father-daughter dance, and we were supposed to dance to one song, and the DJ started playing like a techno dance version of it, and my dad looked at me like, oh fuck, this is a song you picked, and my husband had to run over to the DJ booth and like shut it down.
I think just mistakes happen.
Yeah.
It's a safe song. And like truly, if it was me and that happened at my loved one's service, I probably would have lost it laughing.
Yeah.
If this like rocker version started. But I know everyone's different and I know it's hard. But I just think you shouldn't be an asshole to someone for a mistake, especially if he was profusely apologizing. Like, I'm so sorry.
Right.
Like, I didn't do that. I don't know. I just don't like people yelling at people unjustly.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Emotions are heightened, and I think it's like I would apologize afterwards if it was me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They were voted the asshole.
Okay.
And I read some of the comments, and I think a lot of them were just like, being in a state of grief like that doesn't give you the excuse to be an asshole to somebody who didn't do something on purpose.
Yeah.
And I
no,
agree
that's
with that.
very true. That is very true. I just get reluctant to call a person an asshole because of the situation.
Because they're grieving.
Yeah.
Get over it. I'm just kidding.
He's just rocking out.
What if he secretly loved Guns N' Roses?
It is, too, a pretty honest mistake because it's the same song.
What if it was like back when LimeWire was a thing? Do you remember? And you would always
Yes.
get these fucked up weird songs when you would search for a song.
Yes.
Like you'd be listening to it and be like, knocking on heavens, this is President Bill Clinton. Oh my God.
Oh, God. Yeah, worse things could happen.
Worse things could happen. All right, we're going to take a quick break and then you're up first this week.
Which means you have a side bitch.
I do. We'll be right back.
And we're back. Spencer, what do you got for me?
I have the obituary for Mr. Steven Kruger, and I just loved it.
Okay.
I'm really into aliens right now, which is what will make this make sense.
Okay.
Steven Kruger headbanged his way into heaven on Friday, November 10th, 2017.
The 91-year-old?
Yeah. Where he was surely greeted at the pearly gates by family, friends, and departed members of Steppenwolf singing Born to be Wild.
Ooh.
I love this.
Love it.
He was born on May 21st, 1954, to Ronald and Shirley Kruger, but was definitely devoted to his grandmother, who lived upstairs and no doubt spoiled him rotten. It was a fall evening in 1972 when Steve made the smartest decision of his life by accepting an invitation to a Sadie Hawkins dance from Marla Hayden. They married in 1974 and had 2 daughters, Jennifer and Kristen. It was clearly Steve's destiny to be surrounded by beautiful girls, which he accepted with humor, grace, and a whole lot of patience, especially when all of his toiletries magically appeared in the quote-unquote creepy green bathroom near the basement. I feel like dads always get shown.
Yeah.
Steve was a unique man who was a stable oak tree for his family and a constant source of laughter. He amused us with stories of alien abductions, his love of Halloween, and scaring his family, including chasing his children outside with a mask on and his socks,
Oh.
and wearing face makeup for the Alice Cooper concert. In the spirit of don't change your material, change your audience, Steve's sense of humor influenced his grandchildren, and they will always remember their grandpa's alter ego, Pirate Pete, and how he played babies, who he named Maggie May and Susie Q. So cute. Steve worked for the Oshkosh Corporation for over 40 years and was a devoted member of his union. Steve was especially proud when he was elected by the UAW 578 membership to serve as recording secretary and president prior to his retirement in 2016. When Steve was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2004, he did not shy away from any conversations about it, hoping that his journey might help others struggling with cancer. And then it just lists his information. But I was just like,
He's
headbang
so
into
cute.
heaven. I love it.
I love it. He sounds like a great dad.
Also, that quote that's in there, don't change your material, change your audience. I
Love that.
am a big fan of that quote.
Yes, that kind of hit me.
Right?
Oh my God, don't change who you are. If
Oh.
the people around don't like you,
Oh.
change them. Bye.
Fuck them. It's not for them, though. Well, because I thought of, like, even this show, like, on the rare notes, people don't like us or whatever. I'm like, get out of here. We're not changing for you, babes.
No.
We're staying true to who we are.
True to who we are, whatever that is.
Oh, selling out, we could never because we don't have the tact.
We do not. And we are always changing.
Yeah.
Next week, we might not be athletes anymore. I don't know.
No, we might be cigar connoisseurs.
Who knows? But we will do it with all of our might.
Oh, yeah. All of it. We'll put our full lungs into it, baby.
Oh, yes, baby. Well.
What had you spinning in your coffin this week?
Oh, my gosh. All right. So you know how on this show we do a bunch of things?
Yes.
Yes. A bunch of crazy things.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
I really, really, really wanted to talk about plastic surgery.
Okay, love it.
I just love it. And you know what? Being in Hollywood this weekend quite a bit, I feel like it's one of the meccas of plastic surgery. So
Sure.
Why not? And I think you and I, Spencer, can say that we both do
Have
love
had a lot of things
Yes.
injected into our faces.
Yes.
Sure.
But we love it for the right reasons. Like if it makes you feel better about yourself and you are only doing it for yourself, then great. But we also kind of hate it if it's, especially in this day and age of social media and, you know, all the beauty shit that we're fed, where people feel like they have to do it to keep up with the Joneses because everybody looks alike. Like that's when we hate it.
The trendy shit, I will say, does get a little eerie sometimes. Like when everyone
looks the same.
We know so many people and have seen so many people that have gotten BBLs. And like, I'm all about, like you said, we are the ultimate, like, do you. But it's crazy to me when everyone has the same exact type of body.
It's crazy. I know.
And then like the Kardashians, I feel like spearheaded that. And then all of a sudden they like got it reversed. And now everyone that has it is like, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
What's the next trend?
The next trend, I think we're going back to 90s models.
Like skinny?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's a totally polarizing topic, but because of doing this show, Spencer, I think you will agree. Like we always think about the history of something now. Like, what did those first surgeries look like? What kind of tools did they use? Were the Victorians doing it? Why didn't King Henry VIII do it? And holy shit, anesthesia. We know that they didn't have any. What did that look like?
Biting a bullet.
Biting a bullet. So we are going to look at cosmetic surgery, but also reconstructive surgery, because it kind of all falls under the plastic surgery umbrella.
Okay.
And as always, it is wild.
I'm excited.
So first off, did you know that the word plastic surgery comes from the Greek word plastikos, which means shape or mold?
No.
You didn't?
I always just assumed, I guess, like, oh, they're injecting us with plastic.
Yeah, well, they didn't start that until later on. We're going to talk about ancient Egyptians, ancient India, and then we're going to get to the more fun stuff. The ancient Egyptians are probably the oldest known plastic surgeons. They mostly did it on their dead, actually like shortening noses, little tweaks here and there to just make them look good for their send-off.
I love it. In case they come back.
Exactly. There's a textbook called the Edwin Smith Papyrus. This was a textbook named after Edwin Smith. He was an Egyptologist who found the book, but it's the oldest known medical text that showed surgeries, trauma surgeries, reconstructive surgeries, and there were 48 cases documented in it. I read that they call this the first medical textbook because there was no magic in it at all. And up until then and throughout, magic and medicine kind of melted together. This was just straight up science, straight up medicine. It included things like showing how to close wounds, using sutures, using honey as a disinfectant, and even talked about things like cerebrospinal fluids, which I guess we have to give more credit to ancient people. Because I feel like we just look at the Victorians and are like, you guys are fucking idiots. But people actually kind of knew what they were doing. There was also a section on nasal injuries, and the nose we're going to see a lot of.
Did you know that you always can see your nose, but your brain just knows how to make you not look at it?
Really? Oh my God.
Like, think about right now, like if you were just looking at, like, I can see my nose.
Yeah. That's weird.
It just ignores it though.
That's cool. So their section on nasal injuries seems pretty legit. It basically said you move the nose into the desired position, then using materials like wooden splints and linen to hold it into place for it to heal. I think that's what I see on Botched.
One of our really good friends who actually sent me the coffin spinner, the topic that I'm going to cover today in my coffin spinner, she just had a nose job, I told you, last week. And today she texted me literally this morning. That's why I had to cut you off right now. I just sent her a nose emoji just to see how she's healing. And she sent me a picture or whatever. It was like, my face is swollen, but it's going down. Splints are getting taken out tomorrow. And I was like, is that when they pull the long things out?
Yeah.
And she was like, yes. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. I was like, film that shit. It looks so satisfying.
So satisfying.
And she was like, oh, definitely not. It's filled with snot and blood. And I was like, come on, do it. She's like, it's going to be like the dam opens.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see her new nose. She's already beautiful as can be.
You know what we're going to do is, I'll fill you in later, but I want to have a nose reveal party for her.
Yes.
Because I know they've done that on Botched and stuff before, where a month later or whatever they do the nose reveal.
Yeah.
And so I told her, I was like, we should have a nose. She's like, yes.
Love it.
So we're going to have a nose reveal.
Oh
party.
my gosh. Good for her.
Okay, sorry. Back to the show.
No, I love it.
Nose. I love it.
Nose. Oh my God. So the ancient Egyptians even dabbled in prosthetics. There was a mummy found 20 years ago that had a prosthetic toe.
A prosthetic toe?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, innovative.
Yeah, really innovative. Now moving on to ancient India. This is where I feel like we really should give credit to the beginning of plastic surgery, because it seems like this is where aesthetics were a bigger motivating factor.
Okay.
So we're talking 800 BC. Sushruta is the father of plastic surgery. He is responsible for one of the oldest texts on plastic surgery also. He developed many surgical procedures, including a nose job, and the method of his nose job is known today as the Indian method. He would take skin from either the cheek or the forehead and reconstruct a nose out of it. They used alcohol for anesthetic. The drunker, the better. Passed out, the better. So there was a big need for nasal reconstructions in ancient India at the time because there was something called rhinotomy, and it was used as a form of punishment. So rhinotomy was having your nose cut off.
No.
Yes. Because you were either a convicted criminal. It's almost like the execution thing. They wanted to brand you. So cut off your nose. They also did it to women if they were accused of cheating. They didn't even have to find them guilty or not. Accused of cheating, your nose is being cut off. So if you were walking down the street, you were literally branded as someone who was untrustworthy. He performed a ton of nose reconstructions.
But by cutting people's skin off their cheek, it's like, oh.
I'd rather have a nose, I think.
Who knows?
Who knows? He also performed many earlobe reconstructions due to heavy jewelry, damaging earlobes, using cheek skin also.
There's so much skin on your body. I guess that's what I don't understand. I'm like, I'd rather have you put my ass on my face or something.
But they were aware of blood flow and how that kind of stuff worked.
The nerves or something.
The nerves and you don't want necrosis of the skin.
We know.
Speaking of earlobes, my husband got he had plugs 10 years ago, and before our wedding he got them closed. And I remember that little surgery was wild. They cut the ear and he's fully awake. It was he did it in a hotel room.
Back alley shit.
No, it was a guy who was on tour with some band and he did it. And so we went to a hotel room and did it. It's crazy. Really crazy. All right. That same doctor had students that he trained, and they studied on animals, vegetables to get incision cutting just right, and human corpses. Now, moving on to ancient Rome. This is around the same time, 753 BC. They were fucking practicing some pretty advanced plastic surgery techniques. There's 3 surgeons that were really responsible for the development of plastic surgery during the ancient Roman times. There's Paul of Aegina, Galen, and then Aulus Cornelius Celsus. And he wrote the book De Re Medicina. And this book was, again, one of the earliest medical textbooks to be printed and has been around for a few thousand years now. They were repairing damaged lips, noses, and ears, scars, and brands that they were able to remove. But one of the most popular surgeries was decircumcisions.
So, like, after somebody had been circumcised?
Okay, so yes, or if they just didn't have enough skin down there. So I guess during this time, it was weird if your wiener head was showing. Like, you would be made fun of. They walked around naked in the gymnasiums and in, like, bathhouses and stuff. And, like, you would be made fun of. You'd be like, oh, my God.
When did circumcisions start?
I don't know that, but I do know that there are 2 different types of surgeries they could have for the decircumcisions. And the article I was reading, they mentioned the Jewish religion because they do circumcise. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure they were coinciding with each other, and some people were circumcised and some weren't. So I don't know, maybe back then. But okay, so this surgery, I took a quote from his book, but I think I should just explain it to you and show you the picture, because to do this, they would basically cut your penis at, like, the base, like, all around, and literally just take the skin and move it up and then tie it up by the head and the urethra.
And then the base would just grow back?
The base would just scar and grow back, and they'd put, like, a cast on it.
Why? That is horrifying.
Because it was aesthetics. Why do we do anything?
I mean,
they wanted to have that skin there.
It's so wild because, like, I mean, I was circumcised, and I feel like everyone I know growing up was, and it was, like, more odd if you weren't. But then really we're the minority because, like, most other countries don't do it.
Right. Yeah. There's people today that get decircumcised.
Really? Mm-hmm. See, I'm like, I mean, I don't care. A dick's a dick, but I'm like, I would never be willing to have them
Oh my God, imagine. That hurts my penis. Just cutting, like, imagine cutting around the base, just pulling that skin up.
I mean, I'm sure circumcisions don't feel great, but I was a baby. I don't remember.
Well, that's true. They were also doing breast reductions on women and men. They did mastectomies to treat someone suffering with breast cancer. And that took me aback. I'm like, how did they? I'm sure they called it something else, but they knew, like, oh, these cells are irregular.
How?
They were dissecting animals, human corpses. I'm sure half of these people died from these procedures, and then that's just how it evolved.
I just don't get it. I'm like, how did they know? If anything, they're way smarter back then. Like, now we have computers that'll tell you shit. Like, back then.
And we have those examples of what not to do.
That is so wild. I mean, maybe they just assumed if it was, like, a tumor or something that's visible to the eye that it was cancer.
They would go in and they would take out the pectoral muscles and, like, kind of what they do, I think, now, like, just scrape out all the...
To try and make sure there's no cancerous cells left.
Exactly. But I read that this operation was also sometimes used as a punishment.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. This was incredible. They had techniques for abortions. They had techniques for amputations, removing tonsils. And again, honey was used as the disinfectant, as well as opium poppies as anesthesia, which is morphine. Elsis even talked about basically doing an eyelid lift. There were people that had their lashes growing inward. You know, ours grow out. My first thought is, like, cut them off. Like, why would you go under surgery if, like, the lashes are growing in and hindering your ability to see? Like, maybe trim them or cut them. I don't know. I don't have that problem. So he came up with a technique to surgically reconstruct the eyelid and make it shorter so that the lashes couldn't grow into the eye.
Have you seen an eye lift recovery?
I don't know.
It's insane. So one of my mom's best friends had one done. And I saw her shortly after. Completely, like, she took off her sunglasses. We were, like, at an event, and she took off her sunglasses, and she had, like, stitches all around her eye. It looked crazy. Great result afterwards, but like it looked so wild.
Oh my God. You know what? My mom had a friend who had a facelift. She looked great, but one of her eyes would move weird in weird directions. It was like pulled too tight. And I remember as a kid, like, Mom, what's wrong with her eye?
It's scary. Well, I mean, one of my good friends too, growing up, her mom got a facelift. Mm-hmm. It was one of the first times that somebody that close to me had gotten such drastic work done because like everyone I knew growing up, I mean, they all have Botox and filler or whatever, and maybe a little pullback as they get older. But this was like a complete like whoosh. And I remember I was like, fuck, like she does not. And my friend warned me, like, my mom looks crazy now. And like the first time I saw her, I was like, oh shit, that is wild.
Was it a good wild though, or just scary?
It settled in, I think, and it's like you get used to it. But it was definitely like, that wasn't just like I'm pulling it back to get snatched. That was like
like they cut skin off.
Like goodbye.
Yeah.
Like her face, unrecognizable almost, I would say.
God, sometimes I love that look.
That's why I love Palm Springs so much. You go around, everyone has an overly done face, and I love it. I like that look. For an older woman, I think I love seeing them just like,
I love a full
no nose
face too.
Just like cat eyes, just like rich
big
baby.
Cheeks. Yes. I know. I love it too.
I think there's something glamorous about it.
There is, that they're trying to hold on to too, and I love it for them.
Or like Joan Rivers.
Oh, yeah. She
looked great.
Well, didn't she pass away on the operating table?
I mean, that's what she would have wanted.
I know. Also, during the Roman times, there was a few crazy stories, but there was one. It was of an Eastern Roman emperor named Justinian II. He was not liked very much. He was known for showing no mercy and just being extremely brutal.
Reminds me of someone.
I know. Well, listen to what happened to him. People had had enough, and there was an uprising, and he was deposed. And they cut off his nose. And
they said, I got your nose.
They got his nose, so he could never rule again, and he became known as the slit-nosed. But he went to one of these doctors and had a gold replica of his nose made.
Oh, the Donald Trump before Donald Trumps.
And wore it till the day he died, and he became emperor once again a few years later.
They're like, oh, well, we were never going to reelect Slit Nose, but now that you're Emperor
Bronze
Gold Nose,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, he's a new man. There was also a crazy story of this guy named Sancho the First, later known as Sancho the Fat, and he was like 500 pounds, and I believe his mom sent him off and was like, you need to lose weight. Nobody's ever going to take you seriously as an emperor or as a ruler. And so he like went somewhere, they like tied him up, left him in a room, he couldn't eat, they'd give him crazy herbs that just made him diarrhea. They put him on crazy workout plans, and he lost like 250 pounds. And they also did kind of like the first weight loss surgery, and he came back a different man. After the Romans, Middle Ages came and the Catholic Church took over. It was no bueno for any plastic surgery or any surgeries, really. They looked at it as witchcraft.
Catholics ruining the party.
Ruining it. It was seen as witchcraft. By the 13th century, the Pope at the time, Pope Innocent III, had prohibited all surgery.
Oh.
I was like, when was the Middle Ages? Like, what were the exact centuries? And I found that it's the 5th through the 15th century. So 10 centuries.
Yeah.
Towards the end of that, though, started the Renaissance. Everything picked up. Surgeries picked up. All the good stuff picked up. They took the Indian method for the nose, and Antonio Branca and his son in the 1460s started doing nose reconstructions. And so they took inspiration from the Indian method, but they came up with their own called the Italian method. Another plastic surgery pioneer during that time named Gaspare Tagliaferro Tamagotchi. He also perfected that method, but listen to this method, okay? They would take your bicep. So you're going in for either a nose reconstruction or whatever. They take your bicep, they cut through the skin and shove some sort of linen or gauze under the skin so that the skin doesn't reattach to the muscle. Then they would make a model of your nose, typically out of leather. Then they would take your arm and trace that model nose onto the bicep, like where they cut that skin flap. Then they would cut out that nose. Ugh. So like the model of the nose, they cut out on the bicep. Then they take that flap of skin and sew it to your nose. So lift your bicep up and like touch your nose with it. That's how they had to be for weeks.
Ugh.
Weeks and weeks and weeks because they were nervous about the blood flow.
That's
and like
crazy.
That skin dying. For comfort, your arm was put into a brace that kind of held it up to your face, but their reasoning for this was to ensure that adequate blood flow and that the arm skin for your new nose didn't die. The skin was eventually cut free and you could go on to living your life, but people mostly died of sepsis because of this. So it wasn't super successful.
Well, they didn't have the same antibacterial.
No, they just had honey.
I always think of botched. When I think of like fucked up surgeries, I always think of like the blood flow to the nipples. Like a lot of people get dead nipples.
The necrosis.
And it freaks me out.
I know. Although I love a tattooed nipple. I think they look so good.
They do.
Symmetrical, perfect. Oh, so good.
Oh, you wish.
I wish. I need it. So that Taligazzi, I thought this was interesting, practice at a hospital called the Hospital of Death. And this hospital was run...
That is not the hospital you want to go to for a procedure. Hi, welcome in the Hospital of Death.
Hospital of Death. The hospital was run by a group called the Brotherhood of Death. And listen, according to HarleyStreetAesthetics.com, quote, the Brotherhood would visit prisons and give comfort to those condemned to die. It was through this friendship that he received the corpses of executed prisoners to practice dissection. So he had this relationship and he got the bodies to dissect and to study.
Oh, you're going to get a nose job? Well, come on in to the Hospital of Death, where the Brotherhood of Death will stand with you momentarily.
Okay, but during this time, they were experimenting so much on the nose reconstructions because people were losing their noses left and right.
Oh.
Sword fights were a huge factor, but also syphilis. So the first outbreak of syphilis was recorded in Italy, and it was spread by French troops during the French invasion and was actually first called the French disease. Syphilis caused holes in the face, decaying of tissue, especially around the nose, causing the bridge of the nose to collapse, which was often referred to as saddle nose. It also meant, I guess if you had syphilis, you became very sensitive to light. So this is so interesting because this is probably where we got sunglasses from because of this. And also, okay, you know those fake nose glasses?
Uh-huh.
This is what would happen because if they didn't get their nose reconstructed, they would have a fake nose put onto a pair of glasses or sunglasses and wear them for life.
The old ruse.
Yeah, and I guess if you saw someone walking around with sunglasses or, with that contraption, you knew like, oh, they're a sinner. They have syphilis. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
In the 1600s, barbershops were offering their normal shaves and cuts, but were also offering an array of surgeries.
Yes.
They were known as barber surgeons, and they mostly took care of soldiers after battle, and they could amputate limbs, treat illnesses, pull teeth, give enemas, and even skin graft. All right, so now let's get to the fun stuff. Well, some fun stuff, but the 1800s and 1900s were huge for aesthetics, right? This is like really when plastic surgery was not so much reconstructive anymore. It was really cosmetic. The first boob job was reported to have taken place in 1895 by a German surgeon named Vincent Czerny. His patient was a 41-year-old singer who had a tumor removed, and it left her breasts not symmetrical, and she wanted them to obviously look even and nice and full. Refinery29.com had an article talking about this procedure, saying, quote, "Luckily the lady had a lipoma larger than a fist in the right lumbar region," Czerny wrote. "I decided, therefore, to use this for a reconstruction of the breast." So he took that lipoma, which is a fatty tumor, and injected it into the woman's breast, and it worked. She was in the hospital for 23 days, but other than that, she looked great, and even a year later was still fine. Now, everyone does not have a lipoma to be used as an implant, so during that same time, paraffin was used. It would be injected.
Like paraffin wax?
Yes. It would be injected into breasts, and it would take like 10 minutes, so quick. This was extremely terrifying because it's an extremely harmful substance in the body, and they didn't know that at the time. It also worked really well right away because it made boobs rounder and bigger, and it's a very moldable substance. But women were returning with really painful ulcers, orange peel like skin, cancer, total blindness, and even their nipples were retracting.
Oh, fuck.
I know. If you weren't on death's doorstep from this, you most likely had to have your breast completely amputated. The man responsible for the paraffin injection first used this injection on soldiers' balls to make them bigger, and then thought, okay, this will work for boobs. So then they began experimenting with putting other things in breasts. And an article on Bustle says, quote, "Ivory balls, glass balls, vegetable oils, mineral oils, lanolin, beeswax, shellac, silk fabric, epoxy resin, ground rubber, ox cartilage, sponges, sacks, rubber, goat's milk, Teflon, soybean and peanut oil, and glazer's putty was all injected.
Damn.
Or put in. Can you imagine walking around with glass balls in your boobs?
I have a surprise.
Ooh, just got them done.
Yeah, there's guys that are like addicted. It's like a sexual fetish, addicted to having saline. They inject their balls with saline so that they're like massive.
Well, at least saline's safer.
Do you want to see?
No, God, no. This was until the 1940s and 50s when silicone was being injected. Plastic surgeons called small breasts at the time a disability. So women were going to get them fixed. That Bustle article goes on to say, quote, "The late 50s were a golden age for breast implants." Well, sort of. Inspired by the pointy-breasted aesthetic of the decade, new ideas and inventions for implant materials popped up rapidly as things discovered during World War II became available for civilian use. One was the Ivolon sponge made of polyvinyl. Another was polyethylene tape wound into a ball and encased in fabric or more polyurethane. But while they were noticeably better than paraffin in appearance, after a year of cheerful buoyancy, they went hard as a rock and shrank your boobs, often up to 25%. Turns out their sponginess straight up collapsed inside the breast.
Wow.
It's disgusting what we were putting into these poor women's bodies.
I'm surprised they didn't just reject.
I know. Well,
I'm sure most of the time they did.
Yeah. Okay, but in the 60s, we kind of got it together and started putting the silicone inside of a bag. These silicone implants were first tested on a woman named Esmeralda. And this is why I hate humans. Esmeralda got the breasts and they looked great. Everything was great. She wasn't rejecting them. They looked awesome on her, but she was uncomfortable with them and she started chewing through her stitches. So they had to take them out.
Is this a dog?
Because she was a fucking dog.
I was gonna, oh my God, literally. I was like, why What human would do that? Oh my God, that's
The
horrible.
world's first modern implants were tested on a dog.
Horrible.
Motherfuckers. Then came the saline bags and more of the modern breast techniques we know today. Now moving on to liposuction. Liposuction was first introduced by a French surgeon in the 1920s. His name was Charles Dujar. In 1926, he attempted to perform removal of fat from a model's knees and legs. It worked until she got gangrene from this procedure and she had to have her legs amputated, and we didn't see any body contouring or liposuction until the 60s or 70s again. On to the facelift. The first ever documented facelift took place in 1901 in Berlin.
Really?
Really. It was performed by Eugen Hollander. There was an aristocrat at the time who came to him wanting the corners of her mouth and her cheeks tightened. He obliged and cut out a piece around her ears. He pulled the skin back and closed the hole, but it really didn't do any lifting. It just kind of like tightened those areas, so it didn't look great. And then in 1910, there was an article published in the Delineator, and it was titled Getting Pretty Quick. I just want to read a little bit of it to you. It says, "Getting pretty quick. Age gives way to surgery in a beauty hospital, but a new face comes only with an agony of suffering." This is in 1910. They say, "You can be young but once, but it isn't quite true. I've been young twice, or at least my face has. My second youth cost me $300 in money, 3 weeks in time, and a stoic fortitude that was seldom been seen outside the walls of a Roman amphitheater. Of course, a woman will do almost anything to be pretty, but if I had my choice of being chewed up by a lion or returning to Dr. Lander's private sanitarium for the complexion, I don't know. I believe I'd decide to be an early Christian martyr until I took another look in the glass." So she goes on to basically explain she underwent a facelift, no anesthesia. It took her weeks to heal. She was bright red as a carnation. Blood, just gross. Excruciating pain. But she's like, when she saw her face after it was healed, she was like, I didn't look a day over 3 years old.
Oh.
She absolutely loved it.
Love that.
The facelift started to really fucking hit the scene in the early 1900s. Then in 1916, Eric Lexer took on the facelift. He was a surgeon and a sculptor. And in an article from Tater.com, quote, he instead of pulling the skin back, he actually lifted the sagging skin from the underlying fat, drawing it back, redraping it, and then removing the excess. And this technique for facelifts went on for the next 60 years. In 1931, there was even a live facelift in a ballroom in New York. Spoonfeeds.
Like how they used to do lobotomies in front of like an arena.
Yeah, there were 1,500 people. Spoonfeeds.com says, quote, a crowd of 1,500 people watches as a surgeon performs a facelift on actress Martha Patel in the bathroom on a New York City hotel. The New Republic reports that the operation appeared about as easy as peeling a banana. So many stars went on to have facelifts. Lucille Ball, Betty Davis, everyone was getting it done. Marilyn Monroe allegedly had her chin and nose done. Dean Martin had his nose done. Marlene Dietrich had teeth removed to get that sharp cheekbone look. And then Mary Pickford, she co-founded the United Artists with Charlie Chaplin, D.W. Griffith, and Douglas Fairbanks, who then went on to become her husband. She had an obsession with beauty and even admitted that she used to eat rose petals in hopes that she could somehow absorb some of that beauty. Well, she had a facelift in the 1930s that left her unable to smile. She couldn't even smile.
Love
She died. But also, she was the mother-in-law to Joan Crawford.
I was wondering, I'm like, why does this name sound so familiar to me? But is there a Mary Pickford Street somewhere? It sounds so familiar.
A huge actress. Her stepson married Joan Crawford.
Okay.
Joan Crawford had a ton of stuff done and is even quoted saying, "The face and boobs are new. Only the ass is the same. Now, quickly before I finish, World War I, it is so important to mention World War I and World War II. These wars did so much damage to people that it was a huge time for plastic surgery and plastic surgery developments. So many disfigured people came home from war. There were incredible copper face masks made by a sculptor that looked incredibly lifelike that veterans were able to wear and kind of give them some semblance of a normal life. There was also incredible strides in anesthetics, and their plastic surgery seemed much closer to what we know in the modern day. They did take the Indian and Italian methods for the nose job and created tubes of skin, either connected to the side of the face, or I even saw pictures of it connected to wrists and shoulders, but it gave people a better chance at healing and not having to hold their arm up over their head for weeks. But the modern day father of plastic surgery is Sir Harold Gillies, or Giles. He started practicing around the time of World War I, and he did so much good in plastic surgery. And he also, I believe, is the first American to perform and develop a technique for gender confirmation surgery. And he performed the first one in 1951. I know that there was one in Europe, I think in like the 20s, but as far as Americans go, he was the first. And we still use that technique today called a phalloplasty. So that is a little bit about plastic surgery.
Amazing. I love it.
Wild.
What an interesting history. I love it. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot of non-aesthetic reasons people get plastic surgery. I know one of the first plastic surgeons that I ever knew, she got into it because she had been in a horrible car accident. Her face had been disfigured, and she was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to help people like I was helped. But even in general, you have to be so weary with where you go and who you see for even Botox, even fucking any injectable. Like, I tell people, I go to this guy, and I'll just shout him out, Dr. Marcus in Redondo Beach. He also has an office in Manhattan Beach now. If you're ever in the LA area, they are the fucking best. He's like straight up plastic surgery, whatever. And I'm like, I'm so scared of getting fucked up because I've had bad filler and I've had bad Botox before.
Yes.
He is like,
gets it every time.
Every time.
Oh, you don't want a droopy eye. You don't want to go blind. You don't want...
No. He also, like, this is how you know he's good, because I've been places where I've had so much Botox and still have like a lot of movement. You go to him, he does a quarter of it, and it's like you're perfect for a few months.
Yes.
So shout out to Dr. Marcus.
Hell yeah.
Love ya.
I need to go see him.
Love their whole... Everyone there is actually good. Everyone who works there is just... It's a gem.
Oh my gosh. Well, Spencer, what do you got for me this week?
Oh, babe, we're getting into the digital afterlife today.
Digits?
Digital get down. Okay, so our friend that I mentioned earlier, I won't name her since we're talking about her nose job, texted me the other day and was like, hey, have you guys talked about the digital afterlife before on Obituary? And I was racking my brain. I'm like, have we talked about the digital afterlife? And initially I was thinking like, oh, is this referring to like the legacy accounts and some of the stuff that I covered on that episode where I talked about the things you take care of after somebody passes away?
Right.
But no, this is entirely different, though it does have some tie-ins. But speaking of that, I actually saw my friend the other day. Well, we're kind of friends. Like, we used to work for the same company, and she lost her husband somewhat recently. Just devastating. But on her stories the other day, she was like, damn, nobody tells you how much you have to do, like, after somebody dies, like turning off the phone bills and this and that. I'm like, oh my God.
We did a whole episode on that.
But I mean, truly, it's helpful information.
It is.
For our listeners, in case, well, chances are you all are going to go through this at some point. But anyway, what I found is really cool, but simultaneously a bit terrifying, because essentially there are several digital ways to keep somebody alive, kind of.
What? Is this like loading your consciousness up into the...
Yes.
Really?
It's the idea that you can like compile somebody's text messages, social media postings, etc., from somebody who's passed away and upload it into some form of artificial intelligence.
Oh my God. In my will, I'm going to be like, do not put any tagged photos. Only take from my page, please.
Well, it's like, it's not necessarily like a visual thing always. I think it's more so like encapsulating that person's personality. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe this will help clarify. We'll start with this app called Replica with a K that was started by a then 31-year-old Eugenia Kaida, whose friend was killed in an accident. So Quartz.com did an article on her story in March of 2019 about her app Replica. And it says Replica launched in March. At its core, it is a messaging app where users spend tens of hours answering questions to build up a digital library of information about themselves. That library is run through a neural network to create a bot that in theory acts as the user would. Right now, it's just a fun way for people to see how they sound in messages to others, synthesizing the thousands of messages you've sent into a distillate of your tone, rather like an extreme version of listening to recordings of yourself.
Wow.
But its creator, a San Francisco-based startup called Luca, sees a whole bunch of possible uses for it. A digital twin to serve as a companion for the lonely, a living memorial of the dead created for those left behind, or even one day a version of ourselves that can carry out all the mundane tasks that we as humans have to do but never want to do.
Wow.
Eugenia Kaida, 31, is always smiling, whether she's having meetings with her team in their exceedingly hip exposed brick wall Soma office, skateboarding after work with friends, or whipping around the hairpin turns of California's Marin headlands in her rented Hyundai on the way to an offsite meeting. There's always this wry grin on her face, and it may well be because things are starting to come together for her company Luca, although almost certainly not in ways that she or anyone else could have possibly expected. A decade ago, Kaida was a lifestyle reporter in Moscow for a Russian magazine. She covered the party scene in Russia, and all of the best parties were thrown by this guy named Roman Mazurenko. Quote, if you wanted to put a face on the Russian creative hipster Moscow crowd of 2005 to 2010, Roman would be the poster boy, she said. Drawn by his magnetism, she wanted to write a cover story about him and the artist collective that he was running at the time, but she ended up becoming really good friends with this guy instead.
Okay.
Eventually, she moved to San Francisco, started this startup called Luca, and he actually followed suit moving to San Francisco. But in 2015, this guy, Roman, was back in Moscow for a brief visit, and he was killed crossing the street by a hit-and-run driver when he was just 34 years old. She had been super close to him at that point, and they had sent each other just thousands of text messages, and as a way of grieving, it says she found herself reading through the messages that she'd sent and received from Roman. It occurred to her that embedded in all of those messages, Roman's turns of phrase, his patterns of speech, were traits intrinsic to what made him him. So she decided to take all of his data and build a digital version of Roman.
Wow.
Using the chatbot structure that her team had been developing for her company, Luca, she put all of his messages into this Google-built neural network, it's called, which is a type of artificial intelligence system, to create a Roman bot that she could interact with to reminisce about past events or have entirely new conversations.
Wow.
It says the bot that resulted was eerily accurate. Her company decided to make a version that anyone can talk to, whether they knew Roman or not, and installed it into their existing concierge app that they had. And it says that they started getting this crazy response of people interacting with the bot, asking if they could have a bot of their loved one built for them.
Wait, so did this bot answer them back like Roman would?
Yes, because it had, the way that it works is you give it so much of that person's information so it can literally relay their tone and respond like they would respond.
Wow.
On March 13th, Luca, her company, released a new type of chatbot on Apple's App Store. Using the same structure the team had used to build the digital Roman bot, they created a system to enable anyone to build a digital version of themselves, and they called it Replica. Luca's vision for Replica is to create a digital representation of you that can act as you would in the world, dealing with all of these inane but time-consuming activities like scheduling appointments, tracking down stuff you need.
Wait, I want to do this.
No, it's an exciting version of the future, a sort of utopia where bots free us from the doldrums of routine or stressful conversations, allowing us to spend more time being productive or pursuing some higher meaning, it says. It reminded me of that movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
Her.
Yes,
I was thinking that.
You've seen it?
Yes.
That movie is so good.
He just falls in love.
Oh, sad ending.
Sad.
Spoiler alert. I want to rewatch that.
I know, me too.
The Guardian talked about this as well, the Replica app, and they said that it's more reminiscent of Black Mirror, which I was like, oh yeah, because do you remember, I don't know if you've seen this one, there's that episode where this woman, her boyfriend dies in a car accident, so she starts talking to him through AI.
No.
And then eventually she gets a replica of him sent to the house.
Let's watch it.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen that one.
We should watch that tonight. The episode's called Be Right Back.
Okay.
I miss Black Mirror.
Me too.
We need to like binge
you
it.
kind of got me into it. I like wasn't into it at first, and then that fucking San Junipero like got me into it.
That episode, if you guys haven't seen, it's totally related to death, and it is beautiful. It makes you like
so good.
Wish it. Well, it's actually, now that I think of it, it's very much like this.
Yeah, but they get sent to San Junipero.
But it's digital.
That's true.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, because their consciousness is like uploaded into a computer. Oh, my God.
Oh, baby, just bringing it full circle. Well, jointcake.com also has an article about the digital afterlife, and they looked at it from kind of a different perspective. It says if you have access to the internet, post to social media, talk to friends and family online, or even store files on your computer or phone, your data will live on long after you're gone.
Wow.
I always switch between data and data. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
I don't know why.
Tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato. Tomato, data. That data is known as your digital afterlife, and tech companies still don't know exactly what to do with it. It's important to understand what your digital afterlife will look like and what you can do to protect your digital remains.
Okay, so all you fucking trolls out there better get it together, because you're gonna have a troll-ass robot.
Oh,
right?
Imagine your like grandkids in the future are writing to you like, hi, grandma. And they're like, fuck you.
Yeah. You look fucking ugly. Like, grandma, why don't you have a picture on your profile?
Ours would just be us like, oh, his boner.
Yeah. So much death we'd talk about.
So they talk more about the digital afterlife and say social media sites like Twitter and Facebook have algorithmic systems for nearly all of our major life events. We get a notification when it's a friend's birthday coming up, prompting us to post a happy birthday message. Memories pop up on our home pages, showing us photos that we took years ago. We can easily tag friends and family members in photos and posts we want to share and memorialize. But social media doesn't account very well for the most universal life event of all, death, which I did talk about in that episode. Like Facebook introduced the legacy contact that you can set. But what I didn't actually know is that legacy accounts, at least on Facebook, started after the Virginia Tech massacre in 2007.
Oh.
Facebook started memorializing profiles after that because users were like pleading with Facebook to not delete their friends' profiles. And so they kind of became like memorials for the lost. Slowly, companies like Facebook are developing new ways to address death. For example, you can memorialize a page if you're listed as a legacy contact, but you can even host a virtual funeral or memorial services on platforms like gatheringus.com, but the exact rules surrounding digital assets and digital afterlife still aren't clear. You are leaving this like footprint.
Right.
But it's not you. I don't know.
No, absolutely.
And it talks more about like the tech companies wondering kind of like what to do with this information. And it is interesting to think about like, what is this gonna turn into? What is our digital footprint going to look like in the future, especially if they have this technology that can simulate what a person was like and you can interact with it?
Even think about like delivery apps and stuff. They're going to know how much I fucking eat Taco Bell. They're going to know everything. But I do wonder, and I don't know if you'll get to this, but I wonder about, it sounds incredible. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could have my loved one and I could talk to them, but like, I wonder what a psychologist would say, or like with the grieving.
Well, a lot of these, we'll get into it.
Okay.
But things you do want to think about, because like it gives you on that Joint Cake article a list of things you might leave behind as your digital afterlife. And it's like your social media accounts, obviously, emails, computer files, USB files, phones, password accounts, cloud services, all of this. You do have to wonder, you know, like that's kind of stuff kind of scares me anyways, because people's iClouds and all that get hacked all the time. I'm like, we have so much information out there in the world that is just
scary.
And it's so tangible to get into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Sciencefocus.com says that social media is becoming digital cemeteries.
Wow.
It says dedicated digital cemeteries do exist, the oldest being the Worldwide Cemetery, which was founded in 1995, where you can visit online graves and leave virtual flowers and tributes. Memorial gardens are dotted around the virtual world's second life. Many funeral homes now offer online condolence books, which we know we've seen with all the fucking drama that's out there.
Yeah.
And some physical cemeteries even feature graves with digital components such as video screens or QR codes affixed to traditional headstones, which I do kind of like think of like QR code menus and stuff. Like I do think it's kind of dope to have like a little one in the corner that you could take a picture of or open up on your camera and just have like a picture and information of that person.
I don't know. I kind of don't like it.
See, I'm going to the future, babe.
See, I'm going back. I want like...
You no longer have rights.
That's true.
Thanks, Supreme Court, for giving us that vintage vibe.
Wow, yes.
Listen, I read a ton of different articles, and while I definitely think there's a space for preserving someone digitally, I agree. I like to keep things...
No, but I get it.
And I also agree with a lot of the researchers that have called ethics into question with all of this, because it's like, that's information that like maybe somebody wanted to have Facebook at the time, but maybe they wouldn't want that still existing after they died.
Totally.
I know firsthand it can be very cathartic to go through a loved one's online accounts after they pass. Like I went through my mom's Facebook. I still go through my mom's Facebook sometimes. Aww. Ex-boyfriend, I still look at his Facebook sometimes. It's just like, or memories will pop up or their birthday will pop up.
Right.
And I mean, I do think it's nice, but I also get like, if I died right now, I wouldn't want in 10 years people going to my Instagram and being like,
God,
why'd he post that picture of himself? I don't know.
Oh, he had a bob at the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a show on Amazon called Upload that popped up when I was reading about the digital afterlife. It says, Upload imagines a landscape where humans near death can have their souls uploaded into the afterlife. In this case, they'll go to one of several virtual reality hotels run by big tech firms. And it just seems like kind of like a weird future-y show, but I feel like the digital afterlife thing makes me want to watch it because it sounds kind of like that. I want to check it out. But yeah, I mean, like, what do you think about the digital afterlife?
It kind of reminds me of cryonics a little bit, as far as like if they could resuscitate a brain and they could put it into a robot or upload it into some computer thing. Like, I don't know.
You know what I think?
I don't know.
When I worked for a large unnamed company, in marketing meetings we talk about programmatic advertising, which is basically like when they store cookies on different devices. Like if you looked up Sephora on your computer at home, if your phone is in a certain vicinity of you, like a certain feet away, it'll pick up on that and we can track if you went to Sephora and got this product or whatever. And like you think about it now with like Amazon or all these things where like you look at your phone and you're like, how does it know I was just thinking of that? It's because they take your demographics and what you search, what your online activity, how it matches up with other people who have made these purchases. And so it can like kind of guess what you're going to do or like what someone like you would purchase.
So scary.
It's scary, but it's just obviously the future of advertising. That's how things work now.
Right.
And I could probably give a way better description of it, but that's just from memory.
No, that was a great description.
But it makes me think of this where it's like, okay, if it can guess how we are as people, if it has access to how we were actually talking to people and it had all of our text messages, our social media postings, all of that, I do feel like it could really encapsulate your personality.
Yeah.
Like for us, especially doing podcasts, if they took all of that and uploaded it, they could probably fully create like
a human.
Yeah.
Wow.
The future scares me, but doesn't at the same time. Like, I think a QR code is unsightly for a tombstone. Mm-hmm. But I just do feel like eventually it's going to get to that point. I think we're going to get to a place where it's like, maybe it is a more virtual experience.
Yeah.
Or maybe that would help too with the amount of space taken up at cemeteries and stuff. Like if it was more like, I don't know, like instead of headstones, there's just this little thing that you hover your phone over and it pulls something up.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. It is.
It's a trip.
Pretty mind-boggling to think that far in the future, but I know we're not that far.
It's like happening already, but we're just not.
We're just like slowly being eased into it.
Yeah.
I do think it would be really cool and special. Okay, for instance, you see on TikTok, you know that filter that makes a picture move and come to life?
Uh-huh.
And like you see videos of people seeing their mom or
if my
grandma.
grandkids did that to me, I would haunt the shit out of them.
Oh my God, no, but people bawl their eyes out and cry and like you just miss them so much and just seeing them like move.
But I wonder how much of it is healthy.
That's
also.
the only thing where it's like, I feel like if I lost a loved one, I would be talking to it every day and like not being able to fully grieve and let go.
Does it slow down the moving on process?
Mm-hmm. Or does it help it?
Yeah, it's
Wild.
interesting.
Let us know what you guys think. Put in the comments either a gravestone or a computer.
Yeah. Are you headed towards the future, babe? Are you going with the times? Or are you like, definitely no way?
Yeah. So interesting.
Wild, right?
Crazy.
Well, either way, I think one thing that will never stop is obituaries.
Oh, yes. Whether it's printed in the newspaper or pulled up from a QR code on the side of the street.
You never know what you got for me.
So I was just a little sad last night thinking about the state of our country. I was just like, I want to do an obituary of a strong woman.
Hell yeah.
Of course, there's millions, and I actually tried to do Margaret Sanger, but her obituary, no offense, was not great.
Okay.
Okay, so I found a cool one for Maud Stevens Wagner. She was the first female tattoo artist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Maud Stevens Wagner was a circus performer and the first known female tattoo artist in the United States.
Hell yeah.
Wagner was born in 1877 in Lyon County, Kansas, to David Van Buren Stevens and Sarah Jane McGee. Wagner was an aerialist and contortionist, working in numerous traveling circuses. She met Gus Wagner, a tattoo artist who described himself as the most artistically marked up man in America, while traveling with circuses and sideshows at the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, World's Fair, in 1904, where she was working as an aerialist. She exchanged a romantic date with him for a lesson in tattooing, and several years later they were married. Together they had a daughter, Lavetta, who started tattooing at the age of 9 and went on to become a tattoo artist herself.
Hell yeah.
As an apprentice of her husband, Wagner learned how to give traditional hand poke tattoos, despite the invention of the tattoo machine, and became a tattooist herself. Together, the Wagners were two of the last tattooed artists to work by hand without the aid of modern tattoo machines. Maud Wagner was the United States' first known female tattoo artist. After leaving the circus, Maud and Gus Wagner traveled around the U.S., working both as tattoo artists and tattooed attractions in vaudeville houses, county fairs, and amusement arcades. They are credited with bringing the tattoo artistry inland, away from the coastal cities and towns where the practice had started. Graveside funeral services for Mrs. Maud S. Wagner, who died Saturday at her home in Lawton, Oklahoma, were held at 3:30 p.m. For the last 12 years, Mrs. Wagner had made her home with a daughter, Mrs. Lavetta Davis, in Lawton, who is her only immediate survivor. Besides her parents, she was preceded in death by an infant daughter, Sarah J., and sister Dora.
Love her.
Love her. Who do you have for me?
James A. Schneller.
Okay.
Schneller, who passed away Saturday, September 9th, 2006 at the age of 81. Preceded in death by his wife Barbara, dear friend and companion of Gloria Bosbin, former husband and cherished friend of Betty Jane, loving father of Jim Jr., Nancy, Diane, Dave. Everyone. Stepfather of Eric, Jeff, Brian, grandfather of so many people. James will be fondly remembered by his family and friends as a loving father, distinguished professor of fine arts, published author, humorist, environmentalist, champion of social consciousness, proud patriot, and U.S. Navy veteran. Private family services were held.
You're giving me that look. What's the catch?
Let me show you his obituary photo.
Oh, no.
As you can see.
Why?
How did we never see this one before?
What the fuck?
It's the back of his head, you guys. Instead of a normal obituary.
Was that a mistake?
Picture. Nope. There's an article about it that says, family gives dad one last laugh in obituary.
I love that.
That is such a good one.
That is incredible.
Milwaukee. Artist and retired art professor Jim Schindler's love of laughter didn't end with his death. When an obituary for the lifelong jokester appeared in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, it was accompanied with a photo of the back of his head. Quote, "It's a family that goes for a little bit of one-upmanship," said Jim Schindler Jr. He said that the family couldn't resist giving his dad a chance for one more joke. The senior Schindler's companion, Gloria Bosbin, said that she took the photo, surprise, surprise, as a joke. He had just gotten a haircut and it was a sunny day out, she said. He said, "I want you to take a picture of the back of my head and I want to give it to the kids for Christmas." So he turned around and she snapped the picture outside his suburban Fox Point home. He gave 5-by-7-inch framed copies to each of his 4 grown children and his brother-in-law 2 years ago. Family members said that it was just the kind of thing they could always expect from Schindler, a retired professor of arts at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, who died at home at the age of 81. He liked to buck the system, his daughter Diane said. He enjoyed showing people how absurd life was.
Oh my God, I love him.
Isn't that a good one?
He's so cool.
Love it.
The family's cool for doing that.
The back of the head.
I love it. Talk to the head.
Imagine all the people that opened the newspapers that day and were just like,
got a kick out of it.
I love it. Oh my God. Well, you know what else I love?
Some
dumb
ass
criminals. Look how we eased into that.
Look at that. All right. My dumb criminal. My husband sent me this. This takes place in Sonora, Mexico in January of 2021. A woman named Lenora suspected her husband Juan of cheating. Her husband was looking at photos of a younger woman on his phone, and the photos were of a sexual act happening to him. So she was like, "What the fuck are you doing? What are these photos?"
Oh my God.
She went absolutely nuts and took it way too far. She ended up stabbing him multiple times.
Oh shit.
In the arms and legs. The neighbors heard screaming and they called the police. Police arrived to Juan with a bunch of stab wounds, but he was okay. And of course, they immediately arrested this crazy fucking bitch, Lenora. Now, Juan asked Lenora why she would do it to him. What was she thinking? And she was like, "You're looking at these photos. You're cheating on me. Like, who's this bitch, you know?" Juan then explains, those photos are of you when we were younger and you were much more attractive.
Oh.
And they absolutely were.
They were of her. Mm-hmm. What a dumbass. Oh, well, literally, yeah, dumbass criminal. Oh my God.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God. She probably was embarrassed.
She needs to be in jail.
She needs to be humbled. She needs some plastic surgery, apparently.
God.
Okay, my dumbass is Gloria Perez. This happened May of 2011. Guess where she's from?
Same place?
Florida, baby.
Oh, Florida.
Come on. I wasn't even looking for a dumb criminal from Florida. They just find me. But okay, Gloria was 28 when this happened. She gotten into a fight with this other woman in the middle of Fort Myers Street. The cops show up. The Lee County Sheriff Office deputy noticed that Gloria was very nervous and she kept like fiddling around with her hands in her pockets. So they called down a female deputy to the scene to do like a pat down. And the subsequent search revealed that Gloria was in possession of hundreds of pills for which she did not have prescriptions. Around that same time, she became super sick, so they took her to the hospital for a further examination. During the evaluation, medical staffers, likely to their surprise, discovered that Gloria had hidden a knife in her vagina.
Oh, Jesus.
But that wasn't the only concealed weapon turned up at Gulf Coast Hospital. The 5'4", 180-pound Gloria Perez had a second knife in a roll of fat in her stomach. Investigators reported. Additionally, a bottle of pills was also located in her body fat. Perez,
Oh my God.
Gloria, pictured above the mugshot, was booked into the county lockup on 2 weapons possession charges and a dozen narcotic counts. She remains jailed on a $25,000 bond. That is the first time I've heard of something being hidden there.
That's a new one.
That is a
Give
new...
it up for an innovative queen.
We love an inventor. Yeah, slay.
Can't. I gotta go.
Oh my God. But just I mean, I've heard of things being hidden under boobs, things hidden up assholes for sure. We've talked a lot about on here. My God, the
Put anything
CVS
up
receipt.
there. Yeah.
But body roll is different.
Love it.
We
Work
love it.
with what your mama gave you.
Yes.
That is one cavity I didn't think of searching.
Okay. That's it. I'm calling it.
Goodbye.
I'm calling it. All right. Well, that is it for this week. Oh, we'll have some P.O. Box stuff to open up for you guys in the next episode. And if you have something you want to send it over to Spencer Henry and Madison Reyes, P.O. Box 18149, Long Beach, California, 90807.
Follow along at Obituary Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And you can email us at obitpod@gmail.com.
And please get your fucking tickets for our live show on August 4th at Irvine Improv. Come on, you don't want to miss it. That's it for this week. We'll see you next time for some more Coffin Spinners,
Obituaries,
and Dumb
as
Criminals.
Goodbye.